What's happening on the commute home. So doing a quick video here, continuing the story of my early real estate career flipping houses. We talked about last time flipping our first house. We left $100,000 on the table because I guess we were too afraid to continue on after one of our contractors left, and flipped it to some other investors, made some money, but then they made the all the profit from just putting $15,000 to $20,000 into the property after we gave it to them. So thought I learned some lessons from that, and I separated from my then current partner, and we parted ways. We're still friends, and that was all good. And then my mission was to get another house, do it again, hopefully have more success, gain some profit, and see if we could just duplicate the process. So I was going to the Real Estate Investor Association meetings around town. There was like 2 or 3 groups that were meeting on a monthly basis, and you've probably been to these RIA meetings where everybody gathers. In my opinion, this is just my opinion, a lot of the people were just there to gain education, and what I noticed was most of them would never work up the courage to buy a property or take the next step or do any kind of action in regards to investing in real estate. People wanted to analyze, people wanted to learn more and be ready. And I guess what I learned from that is that you're never ready. 20 years later, I'm still learning this business. I still don't know anything about the business that I think I should. And so if you're out there hesitant about taking the first step in real estate, I'm going to tell you, you're going to fall, you're going to fail, you're going to lose money. Hopefully you're going to make money more times than you lose money, but you just got to be out there in order to learn. And I'm not saying that you don't prepare or don't calculate risk, but sometimes that can be paralyzing. So I just jumped back into it. One of the things that helped me at the time was I was getting promoted as a hospital administrator at the local hospital that I was working at, and so was making a great salary there. So that buffered a lot. My wife had a great job with great benefits. So I was able to take a few risks, and then at the time we had capital because banks and private investors were giving us money to invest in these properties. So I was looking for another partner, didn't know where I was going to find one, and then a guy with a Hispanic accent came up to me and introduced himself. He asked me if I was an immigrant, and I told him no, my parents immigrated from the Philippines, but he still wanted to get to know me because he was telling me he was an immigrant, and he wanted he's been in the real estate game but wanted to grow his business and was looking for a partner. So I didn't even ask him at the time about partnerships. He just started talking, so there must have been some attraction to me. He saw me sitting in the back, and I was talking to other investors and asking questions, so he must have been attracted somehow from that. And we took a look at a couple properties. We talked about partnership. We really didn't solidify anything, and then a house came up that I was going to put an offer on in Parma Heights. It's a suburb of Cleveland, and we got it real cheap. Another bungalow style house, 1,200 square feet. I believe it was 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and we got it for $30,000. I think the after repaired value based on the comparables in the area was $120,000, I believe. So then it didn't need a lot of work. It just had cosmetics, had a tiny ass kitchen that we had to figure out how to make bigger or open up, and so we were, this house was supposedly a home run. So I said, well, hey, why don't we partner up and get this house, even though I don't think I needed a partner at the time, other than the fact that I was working full time and I needed somebody, if I was going to scale up in this flipping business, I needed somebody out in the field doing operations with all the contractors and all the other moving parts that there was to manage with flipping houses. And so we made a deal. I would be responsible for the business side of things, and then he would be responsible for building a crew together so that we could flip houses with our own internal crew instead of hiring contractors or minimizing the hiring of contractors and general contractors, because that's what we saw as one of the biggest barriers, and I still see one of the biggest barriers and obstacles to succeeding in the real estate business. So we agreed to that. We put an operating agreement together. We got our LLC registered with the state, and off we went. So, we were working at the house. At the time, I would go into work 5 in the morning, leave it right around 5 or 6, and go straight to this house so that I could help him work. It was just him at the time doing demo, and then I would help him out from 5 to midnight. I don't know when he got there. I think he got there at 8 or 8 to 10 in the morning, and then he would wait with me, but then he would leave at 5 or 6, and then I would finish whatever work was left for that day. So, and again, reminding you that the point of having him was he was going to get a crew together, and we were going to pay people an hourly wage to help us get these houses flipped in less than 8 weeks. Because again, what I learned, speed is the key. The longer houses sit, the more money is and opportunity is being wasted with the house being off the market, and then paying utilities and paying bills, having risk of people breaking in and stealing all your tools and your materials and things like that. So fast forward to about 8 weeks later, I'm like, wow, our goal was to get this done in 6 weeks. It's 8 weeks. I'm saying no big deal. We still need to, if we hire somebody, then we should be good. We can get this done really quickly. And then my partner kept on dragging his feet, he said that he was bringing people in, but anybody he brought in wasn't, I guess, perfect enough or good enough or trustworthy enough to bring onto the crew, which I thought was kind of odd, because I knew that nobody was going to be perfect, but my partner believed that you could find that person or that contractor, and it never happened. So it never happened. We continued to work on the house, just the two of us, so that really slowed things down. And towards week 10 or week 11, I really demanded that because I was working a ton of hours, and then I was coming to the house to do this work. I said, we need to get somebody. So I had my brother-in-law try to join and learn, and I was trying to trade time for teaching them how to flip houses, and that worked for all but 2 or 3 nights, because after they saw how hard we were working, I don't think they were willing to put in the effort to do this business. So that fell down on us, and then I said, look, you need to hire somebody. I don't care if they're not perfect or what, but we cannot go on like this. We need to have help so we can get these houses done quicker. So I guess somebody that he knew was immigrating from, and I won't mention where they were coming from. Let's just say it was from the Americas. And, so that person came in, and they started working for us, but they had no skills. Everything had to be taught. And so, again, that really was of no use to us for that time period to get this particular house done, because they had no skills. We had to teach them how to drywall, how to mud, how to do everything that we learned how to do, which I know takes time, but that wasn't my idea of hiring somebody and paying somebody to teach them a trade. We needed to find somebody that had some skill or could learn on a quicker basis. So did that. I think we were at almost 14, 15 weeks, and we finally got the house done, and then we put it on the market. But unfortunately, it was close to October, November time, and it was in Cleveland. Snow starts falling, and then that's when the market starts to slow down for house buying, even at this boom where people were anybody who could fog up a mirror could get a mortgage. So we were kind of getting scared at the prospect of not being able to sell this house right away, because we had a lot of money into it, and we had to get on to the next property. And I think we bought another property, and it was just sitting while we were doing this one. I was looking for deals, bought another property, and we couldn't start it because we didn't have a crew, mind you, that was able to work on that property while we worked on this property. So so I won't go into details, but the person that they brought in after maybe 6, 7, maybe let's say 8 weeks, they were messing around, got in trouble with the police, and I think they were driving around without a license and hit somebody's front porch and did some damage because they were drinking, and then found out that this person was here illegally, didn't have a green card or anything. Just I don't know how they got across the border, but they did, and that person got deported. So that was after 8 weeks of training, that was our only worker that we ever hired, besides maybe some subcontractors to do work. And so that continued on and on. I just had a son. My first son was born, and I just said enough is enough. And I can get into that story later, but we continued to buy houses to flip, and the market at that time was starting to go down, and I'll go into that story. But one thing, emphasizing partnerships, that I learned from this experience was that partnerships are really delicate, and you really need to be somewhat in charge, or you have the final decision making as far as the business goes in some way, shape, or form, because a 50-50 partnership, in my opinion, just doesn't work, because you can never come to a consensus, or somebody can't override somebody else. So so learning from that, and getting into other partnerships, that's how I organize those partnerships. I either am in a position of leverage or I'm not. And if I'm not in a position of leverage, then I'm protecting myself against losses accordingly, because I'm not involved or not making decisions in that manner. So anyway, I'll end it there. We'll go continue on another episode on some of the houses that we acquired and we're trying to flip in the downturn of the market. So until next time, keep learning, keep thinking, but most importantly, just keep doing, keep grinding, keep hustling, keep doing whatever you do to get you to the next step. Because I'm not even close to where I need to be, and it's 20 years later. Hopefully some of you will get closer to your goals, your business goals, your family goals, your personal goals, quicker than I have. But I'm patient. I know I have a long way to go, and I still enjoy doing this. So keep on grinding.